Good morning, friends. This is Josh Hendry with Mister Hen's Art Skills, and I'm working on my comic book for the Legend of Harapan. This is the first issue I did back in 2013, and a free PDF of this is available on the website at MrHens.com. Or sorry, MrHen.com. So, I am taking Graphic Novel Pro with the School for Visual Storytelling with Jake Parker and Sean Crystal, and I'm documenting my process, at least a good amount of my process. And we had to do thumbnails last week, and this week we are supposed to be doing our pencil drawings, and I'm learning that my process is actually one that might require me to do an additional step, because when I drew this, I was basing this is my pencil drawing, I based it off of this kind of thumbnail here, if you can see this. And this is 4 pages, right? And I don't love these 4 pages, but what I've been learning is that it's so good to just get something on the page, just to push forward. And so many puzzles that you have in your mind that you haven't worked out yet will get worked out in the process of doing this. So if you're patient, and if you just trust and step forward, and trust that those solutions will come by putting them on paper and pushing forward with getting something done, as opposed to thinking about it, which is in my nature. I will think about something, and then 10 years will pass, and 13 years will pass, and you haven't ever produced a comic book, because you will never figure out all the problems. And it's very difficult to figure out all the problems when they're still in your mind, because they get they kind of come in waves at different times. You'll think about this, or you'll think about that, and you kind of tackle them, but never when they're on the page. Here's another thing that I've learned that is extremely powerful. If I have a dream or something that I desire to happen, something magical happens when I write it down. And the magical thing that happens is it goes from imagination into the real world, right? And it seems very real in my mind. I'm a creative person. I can visualize things really easily. So for me, it's a little bit dangerous to have such a creative mind, because I can visualize it so much. I think it's just a step away from reality. When really, if the thing that I want to have happen, in this sense, a comic book, is to be produced, that's a long journey. It's like a hike up a long mountain that's going to take a long, long time, right? And when it comes to comic books, it can take weeks or even months to create one, especially if you're the one writing the story, drawing and coloring and publishing and marketing, which is what I'm basically doing, unless I find a publisher that wants to distribute it. So I can tell you from experience that I have gotten far more out of taking this class, putting things on paper, and working things out. And here's a perfect example of this. I did all 8 pages for this opening scene, or stage 1 of the story, okay? And I knew I didn't love it. Like, I just knew I didn't love it, but I pushed on, and I started to get into some things, and then I got a few things that I did love. And you can tell from this drawing right here, I did love. This was kind of an anchor point for the story. And it's where Caden comes out of the place where he's been working. You know, he's got a sack of trash over his shoulder. There's trash all around him. There's a chain link fence here. You know, it's in the back lot of the sports bar where he's been washing dishes. And he looks out across the water, and he sees this city on a hill, so to speak, across the waters, and he goes, maybe one day. And that really is the sentiment of all of this. Now, because I know that, because that thing came so vividly into focus in that moment, these things are all now going to have a purpose, which is to lead us to this point. So even though all of this is not so great, at least it got me to this one thing that I really did have a clear visual for, and popped me in there. Now I can go back and I can start to work this stuff. So then the next interesting thing that happened in this process was, when people saw my work, they understood that there was a game called Ringo. And this is a game that I created in my mind. It's something that I've been working on for a long time. I haven't even created all the rules for it yet, but I have a decent idea from all the different drawings I've done, and thinking about it and working on it and putting things on paper. You got an idea of what it is. So this was kind of inspired by those ideas. But like, for instance, I didn't know if I wanted the ball to be shaped like a football, a frisbee, or a ball that you could actually grab and throw. And in the process of doing the ideation, all of that became clear. But here's where this really came into play. I realized that this is not a clear, a great introduction into two things: the game of Ringo, which people need information of. So now I have a goal for this. I want this to really describe, maybe the field, maybe a couple of the aspects of play, and then obviously that Caden visualizes himself, being a champion, right? Maybe one day. Okay, so this is all him visualizing these things, and that's what we're trying to do. Now, I feel confident about this piece, at least to some degree. There will be some things obviously that improve and change and stuff like that, but all of this still needs more work, and I don't know if this is the place to do it. And the reason why I say that is because this is supposed to be our opening shot that kind of sets the stage. It's supposed to be in Winters Park, which is a kind of a significant park on the island of San Sebastian. It's named after Raleigh Winters, an outsider who was able to make it into the league. And so this all, like, I made it super modern at first, and I was like, that doesn't hit the vibe. It's not supposed to be super modern. The only thing is, like, everything about San Sebastian is like salvaged materials and everything. The only reason why there's anything modern about this is because that money came in from a professional player back to this kind of dilapidated scene. So everything needs to be dilapidated. Then the facility itself needs to look like some money was poured into it, but it hasn't like been super maintained. And so my first iteration of this was pretty weak, right? And then I did another iteration of it away from the sheet of paper, and I got closer. But I don't want to be getting closer and closer on this artboard, because this is really for the final page. Like, this page is pretty much wasted because I'm not going to use this art. I'm not going to use this layout. It's not dynamic. It's too sleepy. It's not, there's just nothing attention grabbing about this for me. So I know that's a scrap. It's not even developed to the point where I could erase this and make it look better. It's just scrap. So this page is going to get scrapped. But I thought, well, what do I need then? I need an interim step. I need an extra step to get me there. And my final book, I'm pretty confident, is going to be 6x9. The reason why I say that is because this book is 6x9. And that is a standard book. It's not the standard comic book size, but it is a standard young author literature, kind of young reader, sort of young adult size, 6x9. And for me, the math is just easier. The comic book size has some decimal points in it, and it gets a little bit confusing. Sorry, I'm off screen right now because I'm grabbing paper. So, this is a 9x12 pad. Look at that. 2 pages. Okay? Look at that. If I open this guy up, look at that. Right? Look at that. Perfect. Okay? So I can actually use this to do an actual mock-up. Now the final artwork needs to be much bigger so that we can shrink it down, but this allows me a pretty good opportunity to just draw. And it also allows me to use the materials I love for sketching and working problems out. And the material I love for that is my alcohol marker. Okay, I use an N2, and then I like using pencil because I can shade and get some gray tone. I'll use black marker from time to time and an ink pen, like a brush pen. I use my white gel pen because that'll help clean it up. And a lot of times I got my Click. I love these because they hold Prismacolors right in there, and they got an eraser, so when your little Prismacolor gets short, you can still hold on to it. Love that. It's fantastic. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, and then I usually use like a little bitty eraser, and I also usually will have a white Prismacolor. I know, that's a lot of stuff, but that's what helps me get the job done. So, first things first, we need a line down the middle of our page. So we're going to take this, and we know it's 12 inches, which makes it really easy because a lot of rulers are 12 inches. See, one of the things that I try to do is find commonality between my tools and my medium. And the reason why is because it really speeds up the workflow. If you find, like, for instance, this is a 9 by 12, and you know your ruler is a 12-inch ruler, you don't have to do a border, you don't have to do all that, right? You can worry about that at the next stage, but for a working document, this is fantastic. So now, here's what's really weird is this is totally going against what my teachers are teaching in the class right now. So I got to be careful that I don't do anything negative or that's going to hold me back. But I really think this is for the betterment of the project. Now, the other thing I realized is that I'm going to show you the opening scenes here. I started on this page. This was a letter, and I wish I hadn't used this cursive, but I did. I might go back and change it if I decide to reprint these. Excuse me. I like this, right? Opening scene, opening scene, opening scene. It's kind of a nice pacing. You get the idea that you're on the Harapan Island. It's a tropical place, and then you've got this kind of shadowed, darkened area in the lighter mountain area with what looks to be like some kind of interesting fortress out here in the mountains. Okay, so I like that. I think that's cool. And then we start to build into the action. That's page 2, 3, 4. Okay, but the way that I started that one was on here. And what I'm learning is that a lot of comic books start with a double page spread. So we're going to try it this way. So I was thinking that I could build in 3 increments possibly here. So we'll see. I don't know. But when you got 9 inches for the height of these pages, then you automatically get your thirds really easy. I mean, this part becomes so simple. And I like that because it doesn't require me to do mental gymnastics, right? I can focus more on what I'm creating. And this thing is so funny. I don't know who designed a ruler with wheels. I got a good deal on it. I can't remember where I got this thing. It was probably like on sale or like, but it is kind of funny. I mean, it just cracks me up because it's like the wheels never go straight. It's just like, and it's too lightweight to actually hold its space. It's kind of like I mean, it's a cool idea, and I bet there are better versions of this. I just probably got a really cheap one, but it's kind of laughable as a tool, and maybe it's because I don't know how to use it. I don't know, but it's sort of like a joke. Like when you roll the wheels, it never stays straight. Maybe because I'm pressing down too hard. Maybe if you're really gentle with it or something, it does. I don't know. Just weird to me. All right. So I think so here's the weird thing. It's like I know kind of what the overall field is going to look like. And I don't know if I want to do that here. I had this artwork yesterday where kind of like the sign for it was here. And I had a little bit of a bent post and something like that. I don't know if these lines kind of knock that off its kilter. I had like an entry point sort of over here with a quote from Raleigh Winters, you know. I had like this kind of pathway kicking out through here, and then I had the main facility which had the netting around it so that, you know, the ball and then the flag, and I even thought about putting some foliage in here to make it look a little more tropical, and then the clouds to help layer this and bring this all in. So this sign would say Winters Park. I don't know if you guys can see that on screen. It seems a little bit not great. You got the entrance, you got some chain link fence going all the way across here and here. Okay, and you got this walkway coming in to there. It's like the entrance, and then you got this chain link fence kicking all the way across here. So that's one idea that I had. It's not horrible. This flag would look a little bit tattered, but that would just, at least when there's a flag, you know there's a stadium or something there, because that's like right in the middle. I just had another idea because the field itself is like a parable. Um, all right, so you got the concrete ring. This is like the center basket. That. This is really hard to get all this in here, so we'll see. Maybe we'll make it look way further away than what it really is. Grass, sand, water. My poor pen is running out. Maybe we show. All right, so this is going to be Mm. Okay, so I think we got this wing player now. Again, we're going to put this in pretty loosely because so we're going to have this weird mix of realistic and unrealistic sort of things that are going on. Now, the reason why I say what I've been saying is I have never created this jetpack before. So I've been thinking about it the whole time. One of the reasons why I wasn't talking is because I'm trying to mentally process all the things I know about the story. I'm trying to think of an actual product that might be viable. Now, the kids are not wealthy enough to afford these themselves, but because it's Raleigh Winters Park and it has funding, then I can create this idea where they can use the gear that's a little bit more advanced, but still definitely not as advanced as what they have on the mainland. And I can start to work out some of the things that I thought were just problems in my head, right? I'm working them out in real time, and I'm getting answers, and they might not be perfect answers. I think one of the things that scared me the most was, am I going to paint myself into a corner? Am I going to get started and I'm going to do something and I won't be able to work my way out of it? And I don't think that's really what happens. At least that hasn't been my experience so far. Now, I may end up doing that, so that fear might end up being a real thing that I have to contend with. I don't know. But at least to this point so far, it seems really, really good that I can think through some of these problems and get solutions that work enough to tell the story. And some of the things that are really concerns, I guess, that I have to do with certain stylistic choices, but then some of them have to do with story, like actual plot developments and those kind of things. And I've learned two other things that really help me. Kazu Kibuishi, I'm going to not say his name right, but he's the author and illustrator of Amulet and the Flight series and Daisy Cutter, and just a phenomenal storyteller, great artist. He was at the school visiting, and they did the live session and everything. I got to ask him a question, about Amulet, and I asked him, I said, how much did you know before you got into Amulet, and then how much of your story was kind of solved through the process of creating it? And he says, well, he said, I had the outline. He's like, but I intentionally did not want to know the whole story before I got started because I wanted to go on the journey while I was creating it. And that helped me out a lot because what a great and enjoyable thing to think as you're going through this. Like, yeah, I don't know everything. I'm the author, but that doesn't mean that I understand exactly all the things that are going to happen. I have an outline. I know some of the stuff that I want to happen, but I don't know how these characters are going to intertwine, how their lives are going to mesh, how their personalities are going to interact, and how their conversations are going to develop. I don't know every single detail of their journey yet, and that's part of the fun of producing something like this. And so wanting to enjoy that is such a refreshing kind of idea. So that was really encouraging to me, really helped me out to let go a little bit. Oh, and then something else that was said really helped me out. It said, don't treat this as though it's one project. Treat it like it's one of a bunch of projects. Meaning this isn't going to be the last comic book you do, so it doesn't have to be perfect, right? You're going to keep producing and keep going. And that also helped me. That mindset helped me. So there are a lot of different things that pros understand from having done it for a while and gone through the trenches and all of that that are just invaluable. And that definitely resonates with one of my core convictions about education, is that we need mentors. You need people in your life who have done it before. If you do not have mentors in your life, I can only tell you, start today. Start today. Do an inventory of the people that you know and respect who are doing the work that you want to be doing, and find those people and find a way to help them or serve them or do something that would allow you access to the way they think, to sharing the struggles they have or have had that you're going through. And it's not just true in your work. I find this to be true in marriage, with my wife and I having people that love us as a couple, but are a couple of stages or at least a stage ahead in life is invaluable, because the things that you think are so big and significant, if they are really significant, a mentor will know they're significant. And if they aren't significant, the weight that gets lifted off of your shoulders that you've been carrying because you were concerned about something that just either naturally works itself out in time or any other number of things. I can't tell you how much creative energy you get back for life when you have a mentor that can tell you, yeah, it's not really a big deal. This is what happened for me, and whatever it might be. Or they say, well, you probably want to put some thought into this, right? This is where you really could put some energy and get some good returns, and then you feel like you're actually doing work that's leading somewhere instead of just kind of going blindly through and not really sure if it's going to work out or this or that. And I will say, while the course for this Graphic Novel Pro isn't cheap, so to speak, I would say the value that is in it makes it so worth the cost, meaning I'm getting a lot for what I paid, and I'm grateful for that. I'm very, very grateful, because to me that's what makes me feel good about any purchase is, do I feel like I got my money's worth? And in this scenario, I can honestly say I do. I feel like there's a lot of value. I've thought that first, you're talking with people that have done it before, so that's a super high value. Secondly, you've got a community of other creators who are also trying to do or are at a similar time and space and effort level and all of that are doing it as well. So you're watching them process the same assignments in their own creative and cool way, and you're finding solutions for your own workflow while you're learning from them. You're getting critique from them and from the teachers, and you're keeping momentum because you've got a group of people that are doing it together. It's sort of like you want to also contribute, right? So your artwork's not just there for you. It really puts you in the mindset of, wait, every time I do something, it's going to get shared and it's going to create a positive vibe in the group. And so people are going to be able to get their creative juices going from the stuff that I do. So that's kind of exciting as well. And then they bring in extra people. It's not just the two that are leading it. And they bring in sometimes legends like Kazu. And so you just get multiple perspectives. A lot of pros are a part of the School for Visual Storytelling. You've got Lee, you've got, I want to say Amanda or Samantha. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering that off of the top of my head. I should, because she is wonderful. Her artwork is absolutely beautiful. She creates these beautiful 3D models, a lot of times out of paper and cardboard, but they look so borderline realistic, but still playful and inviting. Just really warm, and there's just a lot of heart in her artwork. And she, Samantha Cottrell, or Sam, I think she might go by Sam, I can't remember, but Cottrell, I believe, is her last name. But she even took some time and commented on some of the students' work, even though she's not in the Graphic Novel Pro class. Or she'll duck in and say, or no, she didn't comment on the class. She commented on one of the forums, just welcoming people when they're new to the community. And I thought, these people have their own work that they're doing, right? They're working on projects for major publishers, and they have deadlines and they have things like that, but they're taking the time. They're connecting with the people that are in the school. They're saying hello, welcome to the community. They're there. They're making the 3-Point Perspective podcast. They're just doing a lot of things to benefit the students. And once you pay for the class, you're kind of in the community and you're a part of all those resources. Now, you don't get to do everything that's offered, because there are obviously paid classes and certain things that are not accessible if you're not, if you don't have access to it. They don't just give you unlimited access to everything at the school, because it's just like if you go to university, you have access to a lot of the buildings and things like that, but you can't just walk into a class you're not registered for and get all the knowledge and then peace out. So that it's kind of set up in that same way, but you have a lot of access. And so that's another value add. A lot of access to a lot of different professionals. It's not just one person giving their opinion like they're the sensei, and you're the recruit or whatever. It's more of a community, and so that is great, because you don't just have a single option or a single thought process. You see tons of different strategies and approaches to basically doing the same thing. Communicating visually, which is something that I love. In fact, I define art that way in my mind. It's visual storytelling. It's what you're doing. It's visual communication, at least. But the most powerful form of communication in my mind is a story. If you want to connect with people, tell a story. It's an ancient art form, and when you learn some of the mechanics that make storytelling powerful, your communication grows. And your understanding of even life grows. You understand life a little bit better when you understand the power of storytelling. And, one of the things that it challenges me and my heart and my soul in the whole landscape of everything that's going on is the division of not just people, like by land, right? Like I don't have a problem with that. And I know people will hate me for saying this. I think that it's interesting. People get so upset about building a wall for our country when that's like when you wash your hands, you're cleaning your skin is a barrier to things that you don't want in your body, but you get to choose what you eat, right? And so if you, like, some people don't eat well, right? So I'm not a particularly great eater. So I'm letting Cheetos in, I'm letting cake in, and then when you're done doing that, right, you pay the consequence of whatever that may be, right? But those are your choices, right? You get to have a choice. What if someone were to just force feed you horrible food all day long that you didn't want, you didn't agree to? It's like, that's horrible. It's like taking away your choice to what comes in, and nobody would want that for themselves, right? But we apply this as though that's the way we should think about it. Like, universally, anybody should be able to come into the country at will, whenever. And it's like, no, wait. If you do that, that's a bad approach. That's an unhealthy approach. Don't do that, because you don't know what you're getting. It's better to actually have a process for that. So I just think it's interesting the way that people get riled up about it doesn't always make sense to me. And what I hate is not that we're debating this at all. I think that there is a viable solution and better immigration policy and all the different things that go into that. Um, but I hate the way people get so divided over it without really doing much research at all. Like, I feel embarrassed at my own lack of knowledge. Like, I'm taking a class right now that covers a lot of it's teaching English as a second language, but it's focused a lot on immigrants and refugees and kind of public policy, like our laws and what it means in all actuality. And the United States is one of the most difficult countries to immigrate to. It's one of the top 5 most difficult, not because it seems like it's open at first, like it seems like anybody can get here, but if you actually go through the process of immigration, there are so many stops along the way that make it close to impossible. Not impossible, but you're getting less than 1% of people who apply. Now they'll give you different statistics than that, but it's sort of hard to tell, right? Because statistics are good, but there's also extenuating factors. So I think the discourse gets very heated very fast, and it's not just with this; it's with so many different things that you can't even have a conversation. Right? I mean, people seriously, they can't even have a conversation. Like, if you go online, it's like I can't even look at people's comments. Like, people are just so antagonistic and angry and just like, I mean, they just think that if a person doesn't agree with them, they're the worst person on the face of the planet. And I'm just like, wow, that does not bode well for the future. It's like, how could you live in a society like that, right? But this is what we're dealing with, and this is what we're grappling with. And I think some of the issues we're dealing with are weighty enough, and we can tell they're weighty enough. What I mean by weighty enough is they hold enough weight in enough people's hearts that we have to have the conversation, right? You can't just brush over it and ignore it and act like it doesn't exist, which is sort of, as an artist, I'm not much of a confrontational person. I like things to be peaceful. I enjoy peaceful times. I hate war. I hate, violence. I hate all of those things. And I don't think they need to be a part of public discourse. But people feel passionately about these things. And there are ideologies that are, sometimes people don't even understand what they're standing for, right? Sometimes people don't understand the context of what it is they're championing. And I think that's the thing that's so challenging, is like, so often people speak with great confidence about things. It's like, I'm one of them. I can speak with great confidence about something that probably I should just be quiet about because I don't really know. But I can speak to the things that I do know, right? And so when it comes to borders and having a wall, while immigration is one of the toughest, actually access to the country is not as difficult. I mean, we saw that recently, like people could just come in, and I don't know that that's the right solution either. So I think it's a complex topic, and I don't think it's as simple as what some people make it out to be, where it's all black and white, and you're just, you're this or you're that. But we have that. We have mad division in the country, mad division over some of these ideas, and yeah. But I would say everybody needs borders. You need borders. It's a matter of safety. It's a matter of even effectively helping people who want to move to the country. If you don't have a border, it's just chaos. It's just chaos. And I don't see any way around that. And I don't see it as inhumanity. I actually think it's more inhumane to not have a border. I think it's more inhumane to not follow policy because nobody knows what to expect. It's just like when you're in a classroom and a teacher doesn't adhere to the rules. It's not fair because people don't know what the expectation is, and then you get bad actors, kids who know that they can stretch the rules and do things and then you get chaos. And that's exactly what we've got right now. It's absolute chaos. And it's got to be restored. You have to restore it to order if you're going to have society, because chaos is a horrible way to exist. Okay, so maybe this is getting better. I still don't like this because it's too much of an art piece, but at least we're getting somewhere. Okay, so this is Winters Park. Front entryway. There's going to be some kitschy quote there like "the future is bright" or something like that over here, just indicating this is where your dreams are going to come true, right? If you come here and play the game, you're going to get better, and you'll be a pro player one day. That's kind of the idea, right? No problem. You just work hard and it's happening. So there you go. All right. Oops, there we go. Alright, so that's the flag. I don't know that I made that flag look super real yet, but it's going to have to do for right now. So there. Alright, so she's going to say Caden now. Oh, I forgot my little micron pen. How'd I do that? You gotta put Caden now. Okay, so here we go. Caden. Now. And he's gonna be down here, so I haven't even really drawn him yet. What time am I? Oh gosh, I have to go. I'm sorry. Caden's gonna be down here looking up, so she's gonna be throwing that ball to him. So I'm sorry. I talked a lot about stuff that I don't normally talk about because I'm going through it in school right now and learning a lot, but it's very interesting. So I hope that you guys are having a great day. I really appreciate you joining me. If you like the video, please make sure to like. If you got any questions, I think comments are open. Feel free to ask me a question. I try to get to all my comments when I know that they're there. So if I see your comment, I will try to respond. But thank you so much for joining me, and as always, have a great day.